Half a day. My name is Tony Lamarina from Tony Talks on K57, and we're here with Coffee with the Candidates. And today we have former Senator Kelly Marsh Taitano, who served in the 35th Guam legislature, and she's seeking again your votes to serve in the 37th. Half a day, Senator, how are you doing today?
Half a day, good to see you again.
You too. And so, I mean, you served, one term in the legislature. What's the motivation to come on back?
Well, I was in that 16th position, right? I was so close to coming back again last time. There are so many lessons that I learned. And I felt like I was there doing really good work, working for a better future for all of us. And I want to get back in to continue to fight for our families and work towards a better future for all of us.
Okay, and your platform this time around, I mean, what do you hope to accomplish in the 37th?
Well, my platform, so one of the ways that I think about it, it's working for the better future for all of us, definitely. And that involves both immediate and long-term planning and those types of bills. But to think of the three S's. So to get to that better future, to have us working towards sustainability, and that builds on, in the last term that I was there, I had a law, the Guahan 2050 Sustainability Plan, and that's in the works now. It's listening to the community, it's listening to the experts, and it's finding out how we want to develop as an island. What kind of villages do we see for ourselves, and how can we do this by not only listening to ourselves and the experts, but infusing it with all of these best practices? What have we learned from climate change and sea level rise and all of those considerations and so forth? So it's also our safety. We know that that's a huge concern. We need to find the ways to keep the drugs off our streets. But I want to look at it more holistically as well. Maybe not everybody knows, but I had a rocky childhood in a lot of ways. And we actually even ended up being homeless when my mother moved us to the States for a few years. And so I know that we have to tackle safety in all those ways. When I've talked to parole officers and police officers and others, they've really pointed out that we need prevention at the community and the family level. So I want to tackle it in every way that I possibly can. And then there's the speaking truth to power. That's the third S there. And so with that one, it's we have to keep the government accountable and transparent. When I was there as a senator, I called for the cancellation of a contract when the vendor wasn't living up to the work that he was supposed to be providing. I called on the administration to be transparent and let us know as senators, but as a community, how those federal relief funds were being used. I was one of the first, if not the first, to call for that. And I even subpoenaed an agency to be more forthright with the documents that our taxpayer dollars had paid for. So I want to continue that kind of work for our community.
Now, you talked about sustainability, the communities, how the complexion of villages are changing.
Yes.
How are you in working to develop more strategies, more development plans within the island, based upon, north, south, and central? Obviously, the north is unique because of the aquifers, but,
yes.
Development plans and zoning laws. I mean, right now, for one, I don't agree that the legislature should be involved in zoning of properties. I think we need that to leave that up to the professionals,
Right.
Because the legislature is not provided the necessary tools and equipment and knowledge on what's involved with zoning changes. So what do you think? I mean, do you think we need to restructure and redo Guam's development plan and look at rezoning the island to better have a life that we all want to live?
That better future,
yeah,
right?
Better future,
right? Yeah. And so I'm on the same page as you. Is we need to listen to the community, but we also have to have experts involved. And so that's why with my plans, with this Guahan 2050 sustainability plan, with these other plans that I want to look at putting into place for a better and more comprehensive energy plan, and also having a plan for improved mass transportation, it's not deciding everything for them. It's making sure that we hear the community. The community has an opportunity to have a voice in what their real needs are and what they want to see for themselves. But then also working with experts to make sure that we are having those best practices, that we are incorporating the best and the newest of what is out there in approaches, and updating and streamlining those sort of things. So it's calling for the plans, giving them a framework, maybe giving them some areas where we want them to look at. Like for the Guahan 2050 Sustainability Plan, they're to look at the United Nations, the Sustainable Development, but also I told them to look at the small islands development out of the United Nations, because we small islands, and I don't like to use small, I like to think that we're right size, but but we small islands, we have particular things that are very different than a continent or a larger place. And so we should give them framework like that, and then they should do the work and then bring it back to us to show us what they've done to truly listen to the community and the experts.
Okay. You talked briefly about drug use and what we're seeing, for example, the price of crystal meth price is dropping, and obviously it means in the business world, when prices drop, it's because there's more supply than there is demand. And then we had Police Chief Steve Ignacio come out and say there is an uptick in crime. How do you see, or what do you have planned in regards to controlling Guam's drug situation and the crime involved with the island as well?
Right. So the biggest thing as far as that is concerned is we have to get those drugs from even hitting the streets. So we have to tackle it at the customs and quarantine level. We have to make sure that we are increasing their staff. We're giving them real support and a stronger budget. And we're finding ways to increase their capabilities to really tackle it at that issue. And as I mentioned, I want it to be more holistic, because when I talk to the parole officers, when I talk to the police officers and others, they say that what they see at the community level and the family level, that's where they see the biggest need. And prevention is really key. It goes with that saying that, an ounce, oh wait, now I'm gonna have to try to remember. Maybe you can help me remember it.
I'm worse.
An ounce of cure is worth a pound, oh well, it's something like that. But it really is more effective and cheaper, more inexpensive way to tackle the problem. You get it at the root of the cause. Get those youth when they're struggling and they need to be guided onto a stronger and better path. Get those young adults and others who might be off of that path to get them back onto that path, and to stop the crime and the drug use from even happening in the first place. So we have to tackle it holistically. Keep those drugs off the streets, but really tackle and give our youth something to strive for and aspire to.
Okay. Since the pandemic, we've seen a downturn in the economy, and it's happening globally. But what's happened here is we're losing our greatest resource, which is our people. Thousands of our people have since left island to look for job opportunities off island. What are your plans to try to diversify and improve Guam's economy, but also to develop our workforce to meet those demands?
Right. And this is where I feel like, I learned a lot of lessons. You were a 3-time senator, and you know that from the first term to the third term, you really learn a lot of lessons along the way, right? I know how to work with the agencies. I know how to listen to the community, and I know how to write bills that get passed into laws. This is during COVID, mind you, when so much was happening, and it was my first term. I wrote 12 laws. And this is at the same time that some senators were only passing maybe 1 or 2 laws. And so I really am a working senator. I work really hard to try to listen to the community and so forth.
Okay.
So one of those laws was to develop, and I'm continuing to work with the administration to get it up and running. It is an intra-regional commerce commission. So it's one of the ways, and of course there are many other ideas and more work needs to be done, but it's one of the ways to diversify the economy. It's building on what we have historically for hundreds of years, if not longer, in place. The way that we help each other out in typhoons and recuperate, right? The ways that we are working towards food security and increasing and diversifying our economy is looking for those trading, networking opportunities within our region. Some of it's already there. So we know that it's able to happen. Now we need to look for, this commission is to identify, but also look for ways to smooth that pathway. What are the barriers? How can they strengthen it? We have food that's coming from Luta or Rhoda to here. We have Sunni, we have yams, we have those sort of things that are coming here. But one of the things that maybe a lot of people don't know is we are producing agriculture here, and that's one of the things we can do to strengthen our economy and our food security. We don't want those empty shelves at the grocery store, right? Is we're actually exporting it to some of our neighbors in the region. So it's bringing money here, it's diversifying, it's adding food security, all those kind of things. Okay. So I want to continue building up and strengthening that, but then also looking for other ways to continue diversify our economy.
Okay. All right, real quick, Johnny Sablon or Flor Bazaquan?
Oh, well, man, I know them both and love
them both.
Which
one? Johnny Sablon and Flor Bazaquan?
I cannot choose. I love them both.
You have to pick one. You have to pick one.
Johnny Flor Bazaquan.
Chicken Kelligman or shrimp Kelligman?
Oh, man. You know, I'm going to have to, chicken Kelligman's more common, but I'm going to have to go with shrimp.
Okay, a cha-cha or a jitterbug?
I can cha-cha, but I'm still learning the jitterbug, so I have to go with cha-cha.
Okay, beach or barbecue?
Ooh, well, they both involve food potentially. The one that has the food, so barbecue.
Okay, spare ribs or short ribs?
You know what has happened? My doctor is really talking about what I eat nowadays. And so she is about fish and chicken all the way.
So, but the question is ribs or spare ribs or short ribs?
You know, there's such a thing. When I was in Australia, they actually sell chicken ribs. They are the tiniest things you ever saw, but I love them. So I'm going with chicken ribs.
All right. We're out of time. We want to thank former Senator Kelly Marsh Taitano with Coffee of the Candidates. And good luck in the upcoming November election.
Thank you very much. I'm number 10 on the Democratic side of the ballot.
All right. Thank you.